Thank you, Todd. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for taking a few minutes to listen to hear about the NATE STAR initiative and the efforts that NATE has gone to over the last few years to help set aside contractors that want to take that extra step of safety and awareness for their crews and their customers. And I guess the best place for us to start would maybe be to take a quick history back how this got started, what was the emphasis for it, why did we do it, and Pat here is here to tell us how this all got started.
Thank you, Don. I was made keeper of the history for NATE. I don't think it had anything to do with my age, but I was awarded that distinction. NATE was formed in 1995. A Tower Task Force was formed in 1996. Some of those older generation is here with us today: Don Doty, Rob Medlock. He was from Region 5, that's where it started. Terry Sharp is not here today, but he was also an integral part of it. They worked together and worked on the CPO, which we all call Riding the Line. It was formed in 1999, updated in 2002. Region 5 formed a partnership with NATE in 2001, and it ran through 2005. Then we lucked out and we pushed and we got a national partnership with OSHA that ran from 2006 to 2009. Due to the change in administration, OSHA's focus changed. We weren't able to renew that partnership, and we scratched our heads and tried to come up with something else. And we had a lot of NATE members that wanted to still be part of a partnership, so NATE formed its own. We call it the STAR Initiative. That stands for safety, training, accountability, and reliability. Don's going to fill you in on a lot of statistics, but I'd like to answer one question already that was posed to me today. Since NATE is made up of mostly small companies, a lot of them tell me that their people resources are so limited that they don't have anybody extra to send out to do audits. Well, I am one of those small companies, and as long as it's a competent person within your company, they can do the audit. We mix different ones at different times.
Thank you, Pat. I've got some statistics here on the board that you'll see out front. In 2012, there were 78 STAR members, and the number of site safety audits that were conducted were 1,915. The number of hazards identified and corrected were 235. Now, if we take the numbers that OSHA gave us yesterday, Bill Donovan talked about $2,000 per incident, then STAR members save themselves $470,000 in an average OSHA citation that contractors would normally get. So there's benefit there from members trying to do their own safety audits. Of the 45 of the 78 companies that reported when we asked for statistical information, the rest of them we used to extrapolate figures. But what that tells us is, if you look, some of the numbers are staggering. Numbers of employees impacted are 2,049. The number of employees trained to the OSHA 10 hours, 1,759. The number of employees trained to OSHA 30 hours was 624. And to the OSHA 500 was 37. And the total number of training hours provided to employees was over 200,000 hours. That's staggering to me. Well, the member requirements, when you talk about, okay, what's it going to take? What do I need to do? What's involved? And I can tell you from our company's perspective, it's helped us in a number of ways. First of all, our employees actually got into it. They like the idea that they have a say, that they can be involved, and it makes them aware that management has taken another step, that we want to try to do everything we can to raise safety awareness in the company. And that starts with the president. And at Doty Moore, that's Pat Moore, and at Stainless, that's me. And we do everything we can to try to drive safety. And it's the first thing we talk about in the day. It's the thing we talk about most during the day, and it's the thing that we wrap up with. And we try to do that every day. We're not perfect, but we try to do that every day. And all it takes is everybody doing everything they can. Because as what somebody told me here just yesterday, our greatest, our best asset goes home every night. So we have to make sure we help them do that. The NATE STAR initiative requires members to implement a safety and health management program that meets or exceeds the requirements that were established by NATE Accident Prevention and Safety Health Program. It requires 100% fall protection when employees are working at or above heights of 6 feet. Provide all tower climbers with tower climber training that meets or exceeds the training of NATE tower climb fall protection standards prior to putting them at work at heights over 6 feet. Hold employees responsible for following company health and safety policies. Have a competent person on site at all times. Conduct regular safety audits conducted by a competent person. Hold daily tailgate safety sessions, weekly meetings. Follow applicable best practices found in the telecommunications and broadcast tower inspection checklist. Our company also we have a rigging plan for every project that we're rigging a tower where we're putting up even the smallest thing. And that's reviewed by a competent person. So becoming a member has helped our company, and it's given our people a chance to have a say in everything that we do. Even the most junior member of the crew can raise a question without feeling embarrassed by asking a dumb question. And of course, I've always said that there's no such thing as a dumb question. But anyway, Kevin, you want to walk us through how do we become a NATE or a STAR member?
Thanks, Don. There's forms up here on the table that there's one for the tower owner and the carriers, which is about 10 questions, very simple, easy to fill out. All of these can be done online. The general contractors have one, again, 9 or 10 questions, very easy, very simple. Just ask you to agree to do certain things, make sure everyone on site's tied off 100% of the time if they're over 6 feet. One of the requirements is that you've been in business for whatever level that you're going to get into, whether it be the owner, the general contractor, or a tower erector. You need to be in business for 3 years, and that's about the only requirement that NATE puts on it. The tower erector's portion is probably 25 to 30 questions. They need your insurance modification rates for the last 3 years and some of the information that would be on your OSHA log. All of this can be done online. It's submitted, and then when you're accepted into the program, it starts in October. Am I correct in that? It starts in October. Quarterly, you have to fill out reports if you're a tower erector. It's 10% of your jobs, or 2 per month. They get filled out quarterly. That information is done online. It gets submitted to the NATE office, and other than the person receiving it there, no one else sees it. So if you don't have to worry about someone critiquing your company based on the information that you put on these reports. It's very simple to do the site audit. You know, realistically, it probably takes an hour to 2 hours. There's probably 50 to 60 questions on there that, you know, it wants to know where the site is, the type of site that it is. The first part covers documentation. It goes on to site conditions, PPE, right down to pretty much everything that we cover on the jobs, everything that's being done on the jobs. And it's a yes or no or NA type question. At the end, it has a place for you to list the violations or issues that you found, and for all the crew members to go over it with the crew members, list, and then it's, you know, that's the end of it. It's plain and simple, and at that point, it's, you know, on the computer, turned into the NATE office. Like I said, there's all the forms are on the front table here. Grab them and look at them, but there's no expense to join the program other than your time. It doesn't cost you anything, and a real good way to raise awareness with all the employees in the field as to what's going on. That's about all I have for right now.
Thank you,
Come back
Kevin.
to it.
There was some statistics that we thought we'd go through. As you can see up here from the number of audits, the results provided 160 different categories of deficiencies. The single most largest quantity of deficiencies found and corrected was site signage. They either didn't have it or the signs weren't posted. There were 22 incidents of that. The second largest was hard hats. At 15 reported incidents, either didn't have a hard hat or they weren't wearing it. The next category was 11 incidents of trash creating a hazard on site. And a lot of people forget about that when you get antennas and transmission lines and connectors out of the boxes. The dunnage starts to clutter up, and pretty soon you've got a problem with nails sticking out of wood, or you've got tripping hazards. And we tend to forget about that because we see it. Sometimes we go to sites and, let's face it, they're not always perfectly clean when we get there. But we have to make sure that we take care of our sites, because that's a citable instance, and we have to make sure that we do our best to work on that. There were 8 incidents of safety glasses not being worn or unavailable. And, you know, most of the time, it's not that they intend to do it, they just forget about it. They just have that little slip, and we've got to do what we can to help them. 5 were related to RF monitors not being used or unavailable. And it gives us a sense that you know, when you look at what we're trying to do, the reporting that we were able to get and the incidents that the members found and corrected means that it's doing its job. It's helping companies be aware. Do we have any questions? Do we have any members in the audience that are STAR members? Do they have any comments? I see one right here I recognize. Jeremy, do you have anything to offer?
I can say that being a member of the STAR program has been pretty beneficial to our company. We have conducted over 450 audits last year, 350 of them personally. And we had so many findings through our contractors and through our employees that we discovered just by going out in the field and conducting them, that the avoidance of OSHA violations or what have you is significant. We contributed to these numbers over 2011 to 12 with over 120,000 hours of training for our employees and general contractors, with over 700 employees attending their OSHA 10. I can tell you that the STAR program has helped a lot. It's a good checklist to follow, and if you can utilize it, I'd recommend doing so.
Jeremy, thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to say something that's a STAR member, or someone that isn't a STAR member but would like to ask a question?
Hello. It's really good to see you all up there, and I'm so proud that your tradition has carried on with the STAR initiative and that you're doing self-audits, and it's a wonderful thing, and thank you for doing that. I was curious, the more audits you do you find less repeated hazards, or that
Yes.
they're corrected, do you?
Yes, every year the reportable incidents have gone down. In fact, I wanted to announce that in 2013 we've gone from 78 members to 96 members. So we've had a 20% bump just this year, and we'd like more people to join, because the more information, the more awareness that we get out there. I would ask everyone that hasn't, give it a try, see if there isn't some benefit. And then those of you that are members that want to see more, with the ad hoc committee of the 3 of us and Shelley, we're going to be able to take requests. If there's more information that you want, if there's information that you think should be added to the site audit forms, that's what we're here to try to do. We're going to try to make it a better program.
Do you use the same auditors all the time, or do you use different folks just to kind of make
Yes.
sure that...
Yes. All the information is kept confidential, by the way. We don't know where the information comes from, only the roll-up numbers. The people at the OSHA office, in this case it's Shelley, puts the information together without giving us any names. So all of this is anonymous. None of your information is shared with anybody. The information is just gathered at the NATE office. None of us see any, we're not entitled to see any audit forms. We just see the culmination of the data. And then from that, we can extrapolate good information. Some of it is just what I was talking about, where our reported incidents are, things that were corrected on site. And when OSHA gave us some insight into what the average cost of an OSHA citation for a business, we can extrapolate. $500,000 is pretty impressive that 8 members saved themselves. There's a real benefit here, ladies and gentlemen, and I encourage all of you to give STAR membership a try. It's worth the extra effort, and it's important. Thank you.
If you have any questions, I think you could get a hold of any of the 3 of us or Shelley at the Nate office to answer them if something comes up later on.
Any other questions?